everyone, welcome to the Bible Belt Bros podcast, which, sorry, but it's recently become a fantasy football podcast, but we're going to change that, we promise. We're getting some topics, some guests lined up, but today is about fantasy football again. So, Andrew, let's start it off. How did your team do?
I was on my second straight week of bye weeks, so...
Ouch.
Half my players were on bye. Last week, half my players were on bye. This week, half my players were on bye. So I expected to lose both these weeks, and I did. Matter of fact, the guy I went up against, you may know him as Dolphin Boy. He actually had the best week he's ever had in fantasy football this week. He scored like 180 points against me. 175 points against me.
Gosh.
Now, let me roll back. I did beat my projection of 108. I got 116, which for a 12-man is still good for being on a bye week. Even if you're not on a bye week, in a 12-man league, 116 is respectable.
Depending on the scoring of the league, yes.
Right.
My ESPN league, I've always sucked at it because the scoring is not as high. Like, I have Patrick Mahomes, and he's just like, whatever. Like maybe an extra 5 points.
Well, I am going back to last week's results. I would have beat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would have beat half the league almost with my score. Would I beat you? I didn't even look at the names. Let me see. I will not say your name in our league.
Oh, it's not that vulgar.
How many did you score last week? There you are. Oh, no. You would beat me by 5 points. For me being in bye week, not bad. So, and I wouldn't have done as bad, but my quarterback got me 7 points. What the frick, Kirk Cousins? What were you doing? Just playing with yourself?
What? Calm down.
No. An elite quarterback should never end with 7 points. I could have had Colin Kaepernick, and he would have got me more.
So I had, in one league, I had Aaron Rodgers.
He went off, didn't he?
No, 23 fantasy points. I could have started Fitzpatrick with 34. But I ended up winning.
You told me you were starting Fitzmagic.
I did, but I couldn't go against little Rodgers, man.
Dude. You knew Fitzmagic had to do something.
I don't want to get divorced. If I don't start Aaron Rodgers and he goes off,
you're going for
divorce happens.
He's not going to go off. He's too old.
No, he's not. He's our age.
Yeah. Football, he's ancient.
Yeah. I guess I woke up with back pain this morning. So.
I wake up every morning with foot pain.
Yeah. In our league, I had lost, and I was tied going into the end with Dallas Cowboys defense, and I thought, might have a chance. And they started off with like a couple fumble recoveries, and I was like, hey, give me a touchdown, and I got this. And then they gave up like 28 points.
Yeah.
So I lost.
Good job, Cowboys.
And then in the second league, the one in the league that had Rodgers, I played the projections a little bit, Andrew. And I don't have a tight end currently in this league. And so I just, because it's a keeper league, so I have Devontae Freeman and Will Fuller both on IR. I can't drop them because somebody else will pick them up. And I've tried to trade them to the bottom two teams as for, a good player and give them a first-round draft pick in the next draft. And they have not
responded.
No, they not accepted that trade. So,
wow. I would have taken a first-rounder.
Well, it's a keeper league, so first-rounder isn't going to be an exciting pick, most likely.
It will, though. Rookie. I love picking up rookies.
Well, you could pick up a rookie. Yeah, you could get the next Barkley, coming out, starting running back, featured running back, that kind of thing. So, anyways, I'm in this part of the season where I won, so I shouldn't tank because I'm on fourth place going in, but I just don't feel like I have it to finish out with two guys on IR now. Do I tank and get the number one draft picks? I don't know, man. So, but I won that league by 5 points without starting a tight end, and so I was pretty pumped about that.
Very nice. So, speaking of tight end, I'm not in a keeper league.
What?
So,
Speaking of tight ends.
I had to... Dusty, why do you always take this there? My tight end, Zach Ertz, one of the greatest tight ends right now in the league, was on bye last week. So I had to pick up a tight end. And, of course, I don't play projection. I just did my research. Found this guy named Mark Andrews. He's pretty darn good. He got me. How many points did he get me? I don't know. He got me quite a few points. For being a backup to a backup, tight end spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was great. Our for some reason, our league has no tight ends available. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I have 2 tight ends.
You do. I was going to offer you a trade, but we didn't have enough time.
And I would have won that. I would have won my game if I started Graham over Reed. So there's that drama.
I was frantically looking for a running back, and I have I won't give my sources. I don't pay for any of my sources like a lot of people in our league do, or some people in our league do. But I have some really good sources that have given solid advice, which is how I've wound up where I'm at.
Mm-hmm. Roto Grinders.
Don't know that website.
Fantasy Labs. Those
Nope.
are my kind of
None of those.
Maybe giving me your source for FanDuel advice, because this week on FanDuel, I went into it thinking, dude, I'm gonna win $1 million. This is like this lineup. There's no way that it doesn't at least get something back. Started Fitzmagic. On FanDuel, he only got 26 points.
Ouch.
He had 2 interceptions. He just didn't have the passing yards to back up his touchdowns, which is why. So that's fine. His value, he was pay for a lower quarterback. Cool. Then Adrian Peterson, right?
Yeah.
His the back that he's trading carries off with was out. So sweet. Now he's going to get a couple extra passes. He's going to at least hit 100 yards, maybe get a touchdown. No.
Adrian Peterson's old.
17 yards rushing.
Wow.
16 yards receiving.
Wow.
So that's when I didn't win. And then Chicago playing Buffalo. I'm thinking, all right, they're going to get a lead and they're going to run their backup running back, Tariq Cohen. 1.8 points. 1 rush.
For 18 yards? Oh, 8 yards? What?
Well, yeah, he had a reception for 5 yards.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, ugh, all right. Detroit, giving up. They traded away Golden Tate.
Right.
So now you have,
Marvin Jones Jr.
You have Jones Jr. and Galladay. And they've been trading off who's number 1 since then. Or all season. I went with Galladay. Cheaper value. 6 points.
Don't worry. Jones Jr. didn't do anything either.
Adam Thielen, he still had a touchdown, but he finally had a non-100-yard receiving day. You knew it was coming. You got to keep playing him until it stops.
Right.
Greg Olsen did good.
Greg Olsen was beasting.
Yeah. At great value, I had him at 13% ownership, 16 points. Thanks, Greg.
You were not his letdown.
And I had the Chicago Bears defense that had multiple touchdowns.
Yeah, I was watching that game. That was ridiculous.
And they had 28. My Chicago defense was my defense on FanDuel was my highest scoring player.
How many points?
28.
Wow.
Highest scoring.
So get this. When I'm at work on Sundays, I watch Red Zone. I have Red Zone playing. Whenever Chicago Bears defense was on the field, they would be in the Red Zone channel. Yeah. Tell me that.
So here's who got first place. And so what I did is I faded the Rams game. That was what I was doing. I was supposed to be the highest pointed game.
Right.
A lot of times those projections go way down lower, and you can get somebody else at a lower ownership. Well, I shouldn't have done that because Goff had 30. He was a little more than Fitzpatrick, so I could have still had Fitzpatrick
and won
and had somebody else better. And Kareem Hunt 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey, 2
Trust me.
touchdowns. Cooper Kupp, touchdown. Michael Thomas, touchdown. And then
Brandon Cooks.
Curtis Samuels.
Oh, well, he wasn't the Rams game.
No, and then there's a receiver for Carolina at 0.7 ownership that won this guy $400,000.
Wow.
And then
Who was that?
You had a since they traded away Thomas.
Demaryius Thomas.
Denver had a new receiver who got a touchdown and 83 yards receiving at 1 point ownership. So all of that to say, like, dang it. When am I going to learn?
But so you got to expect that the week after trade week,
yeah,
you got to know that to win FanDuel, you're going to have to pick up those 1%ers.
Well, and that's what I was trying to do. I just picked up the wrong ones. I picked up. I put Reynolds.
It didn't sound like you picked up 1%ers.
I had D Moore for Seattle, who had a touchdown in like the last 2 games at 5%, and I had Reynolds, who had filled in for Cooper Kupp, and I thought Cooper Kupp might go out. I was just kind of playing like he might go out because he just came back from injury. I had him at 0.6%, and that was not just me. There was other people that were saying he's a wild card. He's like throw a dart and maybe you'll get something. And I've done that before, and I've won $300 on $100 or on a $1 buy-in. So, like,
nice.
It's possible. It's just few and far between. So, needless to say, why am I playing? Like, I'm doing better at fantasy basketball right now. Why don't I just do that? Speaking of Westbrook, sprained ankle.
I don't think it's sprained.
Think it's worse?
I do. I don't think it's broken. I don't, but maybe ligaments torn or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a sprain. Because here's why: Westbrook is a teammate. He would have come back out on the bench with an ice pack around his ankle if it was just a sprain.
Just a sprain, yeah.
Yeah. He did not come back out on that bench. Matter of fact, I suspect he was out of that arena before we got the news that it was a sprain.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I feel it was worse than what they're saying.
So if you play fantasy basketball, which I don't think anybody does ever, but if you do, like Schroeder's the pickup.
No. Felton.
No, Schroeder's going to get...
Schroeder's going to be...
Schroeder was scoring 40 fantasy points the game set.
Yeah, but his value's going to skyrocket now with Westbrook being out.
Well,
so you're going to want to pick up Felton, who is going to be the new Schroeder, because his value is low, but he's going to get a lot of on time.
Schroeder's only scoring like 20, 25 fantasy points as a backup. So, I mean, I guess, yeah, in value, maybe.
But, Felton, we watched Felton, the last 2 years, backing up Westbrook.
Yeah, sucking it up.
He doesn't suck it up. He holds his own.
Talking about old.
He is super old. But he will drain those threes on you. You give him an open look, and people don't guard him as tight.
That's the thing. He needs to make more than one. Really, the pickup is, come on, Paul George. Paul George for the carry.
Actually, Nerlens Noel.
He does not play point guard?
No.
I don't know how this is a conversation.
Nerlens Noel.
If Adams is out, yes, Noel is maybe the route to go.
Adams will never go out. I love what
he was out one day, and then Noel scored 50-something fantasy points.
But even with him backing up, coming in for Adams every now and then, he'd be a good pickup. Anyways, sure. I love this Thunder team. I'm hooping and hollering every game.
It's fun to watch. Like, as a Thunder fan, like, you probably like, oh, it's the same team as last year, always giving it up. But like, that's part of the, like, if you always win, like, I'm an Iowa Hawkeyes fan, right? So we always lose. So
do my Razorbacks.
So
go Losers Club.
When Iowa is expected to win a game, that's when we lose, typically. And so when we're not expected to win a game, then I can watch it with like this whole like if we lose, cool, that's what was expected. If we win, this is exciting, Yep. And so when we played Purdue last week and lost at the end, I couldn't watch that game because I was just like, listen, we're up, so if we win, cool. But from now on, in the fourth quarter, I can't watch anymore because
they're going to lose.
Because I'm only going to get disappointed from here. It's either going to be we won or I'm going to go to the disappointment, and I've been to the disappointment so many times in my life with Iowa. So,
bro, I'm right there with you with Arkansas. We can't buy us a win.
Right. And
We've tried. We know.
With the Thunder, I experienced those same kind of emotions where we're up by 10 in the fourth quarter with 3 minutes left, and somehow we blow it, But more times than not, we're down by 10 in the fourth quarter, and we come back
and win.
Yes. So that's why when Shay's always like, why are you still watching this game? It's over. And I'm like, no, because you're going to miss the most single epic comeback in the history of the Thunder. And
Listen.
I'm going to laugh at you.
We can be down by 10 or up by 10 with less than 3 seconds left, and somehow we will win or lose it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's either
It's
a blowout.
ridiculous.
Well, if it's a blowout too early, that's never good.
Yes.
So, yeah. So if we're up by like 20 at halftime, don't watch the third quarter. It's just complete disappointment. The other team's going to come back. It's going to be tied going into the fourth.
Last night, third quarter was amazing.
I was stuck watching the Dallas Cowboys game.
The fourth quarter, though, was not so amazing. That scared me. I thought they were coming back.
Yeah.
So,
well, guys, we're going to bring God back into this podcast.
So Westbrook, I'm praying for you.
Yes, God, Westbrook, prayers out to you, brother.
I got you, Dusty. I knew what you were going to say, but I took it a different direction.
I'm thankful.
This isn't Thanksgiving episode.
Oh.
Westbrook, we're praying for you. Get better. Hope it is just a sprain.
I'm sure you're listening to this podcast, so
That's
it's
right.
probably on your top 5.
Top 5. This is number 1 listened to podcast. When he's walking in with those headphones on? Yeah, he's listening to us.
All right, clickbait title for this podcast is Russell Westbrook chimes in on prayers sent out.
No. Clickbait, it would be Russell Westbrook's favorite podcast.
Mm-hmm. That'd be a good one.
We are his self-proclaimed. Yeah. We are proclaiming it. He's not, but we are.
We are the official podcast for Russell Westbrook.
There we go. Yes, that is the title. There's our clickbait title.
Clickbait title. So everyone, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you have a good fantasy week. If you have any tips for me, I could use them. Any secret sauce that you guys have where you're finding all this information of who's good and who's bad, because apparently the people I'm listening to suck this year. So I need a fresh set of eyes on things.
I'll help you out this week, Dustin. I'll give you some of my sources.
Please.
Not all. I gotta keep a couple of them.
All right.
Okay, bye. Have a good one, guys.